Tilder! This is the Digitalfoto Helios B100. Cost around $300. It's a 100-watt bicolored LED panel. It can be powered with a V-mount battery, but unfortunately there's no battery management chip, so your light's just going to slowly dim until it eventually turns off. Do I recommend it? If you are looking for lights that live up in your studio grid, yes. If you're a filmmaker that needs to travel with your kit, maybe, because it really depends on how you like to modify your lights. Done! Roll that intro! Hey guys, Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker here, where the answers comes first, the reasons come last, but we're constantly and always still learning. Today, we're going to find out whether or not the Digitalfoto Helios B100, a bicolored studio 100-watt LED light, is going to be the right solution for you and your overall filmmaking kit. And I want to thank Digitalfoto for sending this out to me so I can provide you with my review today. Coming in at $300, you're basically going to get the light, a power brick, a yoke, and that's basically it. There's not a whole lot going on here. Now, while it doesn't come with a carrying case, the main reason that it doesn't is because this is more of a studio light, which means it's going to be sitting or living on a light stand or up in the grid and pretty much not be moving anywhere. At least that's what it's designed for. So that's why it doesn't have a carrying case. There are a couple additional things. It's made out of solid aluminum. There's no fans inside. You can power it with a V-mount battery. And if you have some DMX controls, you can hook it up to a light board and control it that way. While this light is technically fanless, it's really hollow inside. There's no heatsink that's attached to the LED panel itself. So whether or not this is actually going to affect the longevity of this product remains to be seen, as it does get quite hot at full power. Before we go on, let's go over the test results to see how this light performs, and then we'll go to the bottom line. Here we have the light output test, and basically I am doing this without the diffusion panel in the front, so you can see the raw power of this light. And we're seeing some pretty good numbers here that are rivaling the Cobb LEDs like the Godox UL150. In terms of color quality, I am only dialing in the Kelvin. This is not done with a custom white balance. So at 3200K, the white balance point is actually quite good, but our skin tones and reds do fall towards yellow, which is pretty common with tungsten LEDs. And then in terms of the daylight at 5500K, we do see the white balance going towards magenta. So either you can use a gel to kind of color correct it or do a custom white balance. In terms of battery performance, with a 190 watt-hour battery, we do get full power for about an hour and 15 minutes, and then it starts dimming on its own. So what's the bottom line here? Is the Digitalfoto B100 something you should be thinking about for your overall filmmaking kit? And this is definitely one of those, it depends on how you're going to use the light. So if you have a garage, let's say, and you're converting it, you're gonna build your own studio inside, you're gonna get some lights up in the grid or some on some rolling stands that you can move around. If this is the way you're gonna be using the light, then yes, at $300 for how much output it actually gives out, it's quite a bit. So I would say, yes, in this case, it's a good idea. Now, if you are a filmmaker where you are going from set to set, or maybe you're doing some corporate stuff and you're going from set to set, setting it up, tearing it down, you do need to make sure you probably get a carrying case just to make sure you protect it on transportation. But this also comes into question, well, what about something like the Godox 150 or the Aperture 120D or 300D, a Cobb light? Should I get a Cobb light or should I get one of these LED panels? This is going to be a little iffy for me to try to explain because both lights can work. You just have to modify it in different ways. So with the Cobb lights, you have the great just benefit of having the Bowens mount. You can use light banks, you can use parabolic softboxes, snoots, and all that other good stuff to modify your light. Whereas this, you really don't get a whole lot. You probably have to set up a 4x4 scrim of some kind and shoot it through the scrim, which is good. It gives you a nice, huge, large diffuse source. But if you do want to kind of control the light, you're gonna have to flag it down to make sure the light doesn't spill all over the place. Both can work, and it just depends on what kind of DP you are. If you are used to doing some more commercial shoots where you are setting up a lot of those big things, the 4x4 scrims, the flags, and all that good stuff, then you'll feel right at home with this light, which basically kind of looks like a RE sky panel. But if you do already have a whole bunch of Bowens stuff, or you're thinking about going that route because you do need to have a little bit more flexibility in using all the different types of Bowens mount adapters to modify the lights, and maybe you don't have a whole lot of space to be bringing in a 4x4 scrim, then you probably want to look towards the Cobb light. Because when it comes down to which one is more powerful, when you take the diffusion panel off of the digital photo to have the maximum amount of control, it actually beats out the Godox UL150 by about 300 some lux. So you do get a little bit more. But other than that, I think when it comes down to that question, you have to ask yourself, what kind of DP are you and what kind of light modifiers do you prefer to use? And that's going to give you an idea of whether or not you should use something that's much more like a Sky RE panel, or if you should use something more like a Cobb LED. When it comes down to it, probably having both is going to be good, so you have options. But when you're starting to develop your kit in the beginning, then you're going to have to ask yourself that question. How do you actually want to modify this light? And hey, that is it for this week, everybody. If this video has made all the influence in your purchasing decisions, And hey, that is it for this week, everybody. If this video has made all the influence in your purchasing decisions, I would truly appreciate it if you check out my Amazon affiliate links down below. Again, this costs nothing extra to you, just gives me a little compensation so I can continue making videos like this for you. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave it down below. I will get to them as fast as I can. And until then, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.